What Deuteronomy 8 talks about is something that we await. And I bring that up to you because I wonder sometimes if we need to be talking about repentance because we live under the illusion that we're not supposed to struggle with hunger. We live under the illusion that the foretaste of the Eucharist that the Eucharist gives us is a full taste. And so we struggle and we run to opportunities to be falsely filled. And we find ourselves struggling with sin. St. Augustine says it this way. St. Augustine said, "Something is promised which we do not yet possess. But because he who has promised is true, we rejoice in hope. And because we have not yet received what he has promised, we sigh with yearning." I want to tell you something. I know about this. And when I was praying for you, I was sitting very close to a tabernacle. I was in a small chapel, so I got to be really close to the tabernacle. And as all of this was coming up in prayer, the Lord reminded me of my own struggle with this. And when he brought a memory to my mind, I immediately said to him, "Lord, I'm tired of talking about that wound." And I was immediately convicted. And I perceived in prayer the Lord say, "You will grow tired of giving witness to where I've done some of my most miraculous work in you." When I was 8 years old, I lost my father by suicide. And almost immediately, what the Lord reminded me in prayer is almost immediately after, I began to overeat, and it was on bread. And so we come into the world. This hunger is a part of our existence. We're supposed to be hungry. We're pilgrims. We're supposed to be hungry pilgrims. We're supposed to have the foretaste so we know that he who made the promise is true. And then we journey as a covenanted people to the full taste. And then when we're presented with the pains and the sufferings and the struggles of life, it becomes excruciating, this hunger. And so we reach. I know about it. But because I know about it, what I can also tell you, I can proclaim to you, because I love the Lord, and I've spent a lot of time trying to learn to pray, and I've gone to therapy, and I've had spiritual direction, so I can say to you with confidence, it is excruciating, and I know it, and I know what I'm talking about is not easy, and I know it can be overwhelming, and the hunger can be overwhelming, and we can run towards sins because we cannot tolerate it. But what I also know is that the one who made the promise is true. He has not forgotten us. And this foretaste, while it is not a full taste, will sustain you. And there's another part of me that has come to believe that when we can sit with this part of our existence and even, dare I say, seek it through various forms of fasting, we can console the heart of Jesus, because then we have an inkling of his longing for you and I. To my second point, so we have this desire to eat to the fill, and it creates a tension for us. But also, I think one of the reasons that we've gotten slack in our spirit of repentance and started to struggle more so with sin and need an opportunity for revival is because we struggle with being brokenhearted and wounded. And we don't just struggle with the reality of our brokenness and woundedness and sinfulness. What we struggle with is what we perceive is the unknown of when and how it will be healed. We get tired of waiting. I can't tell you how many times I've looked at that tabernacle and been like, how are we still here? I've asked all the ways I can ask, Lord. I thought I jumped through all the hoops. How are we still here? When will I be healed? How will I be healed? How will you do it? Why am I having to wait? This is excruciating. Spoiler alert. You will be healed. You will be healed, provided you make a sincere effort to devote yourself to the sacramental life of the church, and the building of the kingdom.